So what happens when a 911 dispatcher gets like this frantic call about a bank heist getaway car, but it turns out the dangerous suspects are actually just very, very ugly seat covers?
Well, today you are about to find out because we are opening up the real, highly classified, and just wildly entertaining dispatch logs of Langlade County, Wisconsin.
It is an absolute gold mine. We are looking at, late July and early August of 2026.
Right. And the sheer volume of neighborhood drama captured in these CAD reports, the computer-aided dispatch logs, is just staggering.
Oh, completely.
We are bypassing the major headlines and looking directly at the microscopic, hilarious pulse of this community.
So, pull up a chair, grab your coffee, maybe a cheese curd or two.
Yeah.
We're going to treat this deep dive like the spiciest, most neighborly gossip session you've ever heard.
Oh, let me just sneak right past you and tell you what's really going on down at the Ket trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But before we start spilling the tea, we need to set some ground rules for this deep dive.
Yes, very important. So we are looking at authentic police and sheriff reports from the Antigo area. And to give you, the listener, the real flavor of the geography, we are definitely going to name local roads and landmarks.
Right, like Walmart, HWS, Peaceful Valley.
Exactly. But, and this is a big but, we are absolutely omitting any names and specific house numbers.
Because we have to protect the innocent.
And frankly, we have to protect the guilty, too.
Yeah, fair enough. Reading these logs is exactly like reading the town's secret diary.
It really is.
It's this incredible mix of the completely mundane, the utterly ridiculous, and just the purely chaotic.
And sometimes things that look like high-stakes drama to a nosy neighbor turn out to be hilariously innocent.
Like the armed robbery that wasn't. Let's start with that one.
Okay, so July 24th, dispatch receives a call about 3 individuals sitting in a Dodge outside a local business.
And the caller gives incredibly specific details, right?
Oh, yeah. 1 male in a blue flannel, a heavier set female. But the detail that really triggered the emergency response was the caller's absolute insistence that all 3 occupants were wearing face masks.
Which instantly paints a picture. I mean, you hear that, and your mind immediately goes to a getaway car idling in the parking lot.
Right, you expect a SWAT team to roll up.
Exactly.
And the dispatcher certainly can't ignore it. So an officer is sent out to investigate this, potentially volatile situation.
And what happens?
Well, the responding officer arrives, cautiously approaches this suspicious vehicle, and then has to update the official log.
With the truth.
With the truth.
Yeah.
The occupants were not, in fact, wearing face masks. The car just had really bizarre seat covers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the officer marked it 10-2, which is police code for basically all good.
Wait, okay, I have to stop you there. I can understand a double take, but at what point does being a concerned citizen cross the line into just needing a new prescription for your glasses?
I know, it sounds crazy.
Like, how do you mistake a patterned seat cover for 3 distinct human beings in ski masks plotting a heist?
Well, you'd be surprised. It's actually rooted in this really fascinating cognitive bias. It's a combination of pareidolia and heightened environmental vigilance.
Pareidolia. But pareidolia is just seeing a face in a burnt piece of toast or like a cloud shape, right?
Yeah.
So how does that translate to an armed robbery?
Because our brains are essentially prediction machines, right? They are constantly trying to fill in missing information.
Okay, I follow.
So in a low-crime environment, like a quiet Midwestern town, the baseline of action is near 0. When an anomaly appears, say, a strange shadow on a headrest combined with a tinted window, the brain tries to solve the visual puzzle.
Oh, I see.
And if that caller watches a lot of true crime or the news, their brain fills in the blank with a threat narrative. They don't just see a shape, they see the most dangerous possible version of that shape.
Which makes total psychological sense, but, it doesn't make it any less embarrassing for the poor officer who has to go aggressively interrogate a set of upholstery.
Not at all.
And this kind of overzealous observation is everywhere in these logs. Just 2 days prior, on July 22nd, we get the hot dog drama.
Ah, yes, the hot dog.
Caller frantically reports a dog trapped in a fogged-up car, entirely convinced the animal has been abandoned to suffer.
Which, to be fair, is a very valid concern during the peak of summer. We all know how fast cars heat up.
Right, totally. So the officer arrives, inspects the vehicle, and notes in the log that the dog is perfectly fine.
Living its best life, really.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Has plenty of food, a full bowl of water, and is just casually chilling in the back seat. Oh, and the officer also dryly noted in the report that it was a brisk 49 degrees outside.
49 degrees.
That dog wasn't in danger of heat stroke. That dog was probably trying to figure out how to turn on the heated seats.
It really makes you wonder how dispatchers handle the sheer psychological load of these calls.
Because they have to treat every call seriously.
Every single one.
Huh.
Even when the caller has completely bypassed their own logic, dispatchers really are master de-escalators.
They kind of act as a catch-all for community anxiety, don't they?
Exactly. People want to be helpful, they want to be the hero, but they lack situational awareness. You see, the dispatcher's patience tested constantly, especially with the sheer volume of 9/11 hangups recorded in this 2-week period.
Oh, the pocket dials are spectacular.
They are. When you look at the callbacks, it actually paints this beautiful, idyllic, sociological snapshot of summer in Langlade County.
It really does. You have a guy who accidentally dialed while golfing.
Yep.
You have a family out driving to go fishing.
And you have highway department employees accidentally sitting on their phones while they're out cutting hay.
Just a constant chorus of, oh,
Yeah.
start dispatch just out on the lake.
But those calls are born out of innocent mistake or misplaced care.
Right. But this next batch of logs, man, it proves that when small-town residents get mad, the polite Midwestern exterior cracks.
And the passive aggression that comes out is truly something to behold.
The turf wars.
Yes. When the social contract breaks down, the petty disputes escalate to a level that is almost artistic in its spite.
Okay, take the Hudson Street Bridge mystery.
A classic.
On July 26th, a resident was so incensed that they literally walked into the safety building to formally file a report.
And what was the crime?
Someone chucked a green picnic table directly into the lake off the west side of the Hudson Street Bridge.
Just tossed it right in.
I look at this like a mob movie execution, except instead of a snitch getting cement shoes, it's just patio furniture that someone was tired of looking at.
Discarding an object into a body of water is the historical ultimate statement of neighborhood finality.
It really sends a message.
It's a very physical way of saying, this problem is no longer mine. It belongs to the earth now.
But the real insight here is how people use law enforcement as personal social workers when their neighborhood diplomacy fails.
Look at the incident on Gruber Street on the exact same day.
Oh, the gifted girl standoff?
Yes. A caller reported someone actively trespassing on their property. When the officer arrived, they had to untangle this incredibly convoluted web.
It's like a soap opera.
So the caller had previously been gifted a barbecue grill by a neighbor.
Yeah, pretty nice.
In return, the caller bought that neighbor a different grill.
A grill exchange, I like it.
But then the original owner marched onto the caller's property, demanding the very first grill back.
The ultimate breach of neighborhood barbecue etiquette.
They literally said, I don't like the replacement grill, give me my old one back.
And the police literally had to stand there and tell these adults, we cannot arrest someone over a gifted Weber.
No. You have to take this to civil court.
Why do people even call the cops for something like that? I mean, they have to know a SWAT team isn't going to raid a backyard over some charcoal grates.
Because the badge carries a symbolic authority.
Right.
When you can't assert dominance over your neighbor, you borrow the authority of the state to try and intimidate them.
That makes a lot of sense.
It happens all the time in rural and suburban environments where property lines become the absolute limit of a person's kingdom.
And sometimes people decide to wage war across those property lines with extreme prejudice.
Oh, absolutely.
Like over on Price Polo Road on July 28th, we had the corn patch caper.
Right. Someone drove a car straight through a farmer's corn patch in the middle of the night.
Flattened the crops and left behind absolutely nothing but a trail of empty beer cans.
That is just chaotic, reckless vandalism.
But contrast that loud, drunken destruction with the calculated, icy coldness of the spiteful fire pits out on Blue Spruce Court.
This one is pure psychological warfare.
Pure. A caller reported that a neighbor was out in the county digging multiple fire pits right next to the tree line.
Which is concerning enough.
But then they were lighting these pits on fire and just casually walking away while the pits smoked.
Living in a rural area, a fire near a tree line is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's an existential threat to your property, and the neighbor knows that.
They were just doing it to mess with them. It's the Midwestern equivalent of blasting loud music at 2 a.m. But instead of noise, you were just slowly smoldering yard waste right on the property line.
It's passive aggression elevated to an art form.
It really is.
And it reveals so much about rural isolation. When you live out in the county, you expect peace and autonomy.
Right.
Any perceived slight, a disputed grill, a smoking fire pit feels like a massive infringement on your personal sovereignty because your space is all you have.
The proximity breeds a very specific, slow-burning contempt.
Yes.
So the humans are out here fighting cold wars over property lines, but you know who absolutely does not care about borders or sovereignty?
Let me guess. The Langlade County Animal Kingdom.
You guessed it. The local wildlife and pets are treating the entire county like their own personal playground, and the dispatch logs are full of it.
The animal complaints are a genre unto themselves. The sheer variety of species interacting with law enforcement is incredible.
Let's look at the hamster incident.
Oh, this one is special.
July 22nd, a caller phones dispatch because they found what they believed was a, quote, kid's pet hamster, unquote, inside a hole they were digging in their yard.
Now, why do they think a subterranean rodent in rural Wisconsin was a domesticated pet?
Well, the log explains their deductive reasoning. They said, it's friendly and you can pick it up.
Which, biologically speaking, is a terrifying reason to pick up a wild animal.
I know. They put this mystery beast in a bucket, placed it under a tree, and wanted to take it to Yoshe WS, the local humane society.
The psychology of this caller is fascinating.
How so?
Well, they are digging a hole, they encounter a creature living in the dirt, and their very first thought isn't rabies or vermin.
Right, it's not a threat to them.
Exactly. Their first thought is, someone in my community lost their beloved pet.
Oh, that's actually really sweet.
It speaks to a deep-seated, naive optimism. They care so much about their neighbors that they are willing to gently place a potentially rabid groundhog into a bucket.
I desperately want to know what was actually in the bucket. A moley. A very confused badger. A massive field mouse.
We will never know.
We won't. But while the bucket beast was a complete mystery, other animals in these logs are very, very well known to law enforcement.
Like our repeat offender down at the lake park.
Yes. On July 23rd, dogs were reported running loose around the RV park and 2nd Ave, getting into the trash and causing absolute mischief.
The owner had to be tracked down to wrangle them.
But the absolute best part is the responding deputy's official note in the CAD report. The deputy actually typed out in the official log, I recognize the dog from prior animal complaints.
That is hilarious.
So I have to ask you, if a dog has a rap sheet so long that the local deputies recognize it on site, does that make the dog a local celebrity or a public enemy?
I think it makes them a fixture of the community.
A fixture.
Yeah, in a small town, identity is fixed. You aren't just a stray dog. You're that specific dog who always tips over the trash cans on 2nd Ave.
Honestly, it feels like the animals just completely outnumber the deputies some days.
They really do.
On July 22nd, a horse got loose and was wandering by the town shop on County Road T.
A whole horse.
A whole horse. And then on July 24th, traffic on Hogan Street was brought to a dead stop by a baby raccoon with a limp.
Ah.
And then on July 28th on Arctic Street, there was a massive black Great Dane running wild. The deputy officially typed into the police report that he was trying to catch, quote, that moose of a dog.
That moose of a dog. It's brilliant.
It is.
When official, sterile police terminology fails to capture the sheer scale of the problem, they just resort to poetic exaggeration.
And these animal logs constantly remind us that no matter how much civilization we build, how many roads we pave or quick trips we construct, we are basically just borrowing the land from the wildlife.
Borrowing the land by day, maybe.
But when the sun goes down,
The wildlife goes to sleep, and the real local characters just get started.
the nighttime logs, they shift from mundane problems to incredibly creative, bizarre situations.
The texture of the dispatch reports completely changes after dark. The hypervigilance we talked about earlier takes on a completely different flavor.
Like the hotel smelters.
Yes.
July 24th on 6th Ave, a concerned citizen calls in a frantic report of people smoking out of a pipe at a hotel.
So dispatch sends someone out to dramatically investigate this illicit drug den.
And the update to the log. Everything 10:02, just tobacco pipes.
Again, it's the brain filling in the blanks with a threat.
Right.
A pipe at a hotel couldn't possibly just be someone enjoying a cherry-flavored tobacco blend on their vacation. It must be illegal narcotics.
Naturally. But sometimes a crime actually is a crime. Like the drive-off on July 30th on Rush Road.
Oh, this one is cinematic.
A woman driving a Chevy Avalanche or maybe a Silverado, the caller wasn't entirely sure, boldly drives off without paying her gas tab.
And the grand total of this devastating heist.
$16.
It's the descriptive details provided by the caller that make this one so memorable.
Right, the caller specifically noted to dispatch that the suspect was missing her front teeth.
It paints quite a picture of a $16 mastermind.
It really does. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, paints a picture quite like the crown jewel of the week.
Ah, yes. The MacGyver Files.
July 31st, 4 over in the morning. An abandoned vehicle is found near Hatton Springs at a trailhead off Sherry Road and State Road 64.
The responding deputy's log entry is practically a poem of automotive destruction.
What does he write?
He writes, Silverado, appears totaled, windows busted out,
And then the greatest sentence ever, typed into a CAD system.
rope tied around steering wheel.
Okay, walk me through the physics here.
Right.
Because I am picturing someone trying to rein a totaled Chevy through the Wisconsin woods like that loose horse on County Road T.
It is mechanically absurd.
Right.
A modern truck like a Silverado uses a rack and pinion steering system. The steering wheel connects to a column,
Okay.
which turns a gear on a rack, physically pushing the heavy steel tie rods left or right to turn the wheels.
Got it.
And you have thousands of pounds of vehicle weight resting on those front tires. The friction against the dirt alone is massive.
So tying a piece of nylon rope to the wheel.
If the steering column is busted, or the tie rods are compromised from wrapping the truck around a tree.
Which seems likely given the condition.
Exactly. Tying a rope to the steering mechanism is an attempt to manually force the tires to pivot from outside the normal steering assembly. Or, more likely, someone was towing it with another vehicle, and they rigged the rope in a desperate attempt to keep the wheels straight while it was being dragged.
But still, the sheer physical force required for a human arm to pull a rope and turn thousands of pounds of deadweight steel is impossible.
Precisely. It is an incredible display of Midwestern ingenuity applied to a highly illegal and dangerous situation.
It's just wild.
They refused to give up on that truck until the laws of physics simply demanded they walk away into the night. It is the ultimate manifestation of the, we can fix this culture taken to its absolute chaotic extreme.
I just picture someone standing in the dark at 4 a.m., window smashed, truck completely totaled, holding a piece of braided twine and saying, "Oh, I think if I just pull real hard to the left, we can make it back to town."
It requires a level of optimism that frankly rivals the person putting the mystery hamster into a bucket.
It really does. And that, honestly, brings us to the moral of the week for this deep dive.
It's time to distill all this chaos.
What is the takeaway for the listener from all this beautiful nonsense?
Well, if you find yourself in a tight spot in Langlade County, maybe don't use a rope for a steering wheel.
Good advice.
Definitely don't chuck your unwanted patio furniture into the local lake just because you're tired of looking at it.
Also good advice.
And for the love of all that is holy, please keep your moose of a dog on a leash.
Words to live by.
We started this deep dive by saying this was like reading the town's secret diary.
I did.
And the thing about diaries is that they always leave you wanting to know the rest of the story.
Always.
So I'm going to leave you, the listener, with a lingering, unanswered question to mull over with your morning coffee.
Okay, what is it?
What was the exact conversation, the precise series of words that led up to that green picnic table going over the Hudson Street Bridge?
That is a fascinating thought. I mean, it didn't just walk itself into the water. No, there is a whole missing act of a play there.
Somewhere in Langlade County, there is an incredible backstory just waiting to be told.
An argument over burgers, a dispute over a card game, who knows? But for now, we'll just have to let it float down the river.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Remember, especially in a small town, the truth is always weirder, wilder, and way funnier than fiction. Catch you next time.